Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Supervillains Wave 1 Xemnu Build-A-Figure. This is Marvel's Arcade, or Arcade. Really awesome. So looking at the package, purple and green, I love the color theme to it. It is really awesome. I keep forgetting this in every single one of the videos. I got my wave from Dorkside Toys. Dorkside Toys always seems to be the first to get Marvel Legends. There are some exceptions where EE will get them first, or even Big Bad Toy Store, but for the most part, the waves, Dorkside has really been the place to be to order. So I do recommend pre-ordering every Marvel Legends through Dorkside, but sooner the better. The earlier you get your pre-order in, the more likely you are to be fulfilled on your order. So always keep that in mind with any website. But Dorkside Toys really came through and got this wave out to me. Side artwork looks very cool of Arcade, very classic looking with the shorter hair. We do have the longer hair head sculpt included as well. Looking at the back of the package, we get that same image of Arcade. His bio reads, Marvel's Arcade, a brilliant assassin with shadowy origins. Arcade makes up for his lack of physical strength with a keen intellect and a vast personal fortune. So interesting. He's rich and he's smart. That's cool. Here we have all the figures in the wave. We have looked at Dr. Doom, Dormammu, the Hood, Lady Deathstrike. We are onto Arcade. Next up will be Red Skull, then a Scientist Supreme, onto the Xemnu Build-A-Figure. So without further ado, let's get it going. Okay, so here is the Arcade figure out of the package, and he's pretty plain and basic and uses the old suited body, which really sucks. Somebody had mentioned something on, I think, an Instagram post or a comment in a different YouTube video saying something about my Arcade figure also having a QC issue. So I kept looking and looking to see what that was, and I don't know what the QC issue is on mine. As we go through the video, hopefully I figure out whatever the QC issue on mine is, but I'm not sure that there is one. You know, I think for the most part, my a.i.m Scientist Supreme is really the one that had the biggest QC issue, and the other figures I don't really think are too bad, aside from the Scarlet Witch, the red stripe on her foot being really off-centered. But let's zoom in and take a look. He does come with one accessory. He does have the right leg to the Xemnu Build-A-Figure. We'll just kind of stick that off to the side. But let's zoom in on Arcade. Okay, here's an up-close look at Arcade. Let's take a look at the accessories. So first thing, he comes with this cane here that just has kind of this blue ball at the end and kind of an ornamental look to it, and then a gold cane, which is just done in a molded goldish plastic, and it's actually pretty straight. If yours comes warped, you just want to warm it up and then kind of straighten it out and then cool it down. But that's that. He can't really hold the ball end on his hand, so like if you look up images, you know, or even the side artwork from the package, you know, it shows one hand over the cane and then the other hand over it. He doesn't really hold on to it that way, but in his right hand he can hold on to the cane like so. But looking at it, so here we have the shorter hair version of Arcade, and I've been looking, I can't really picture whatever QC issue that somebody said would have, other than the way the hair is glued onto the head might be a little off on mine, but that doesn't actually seem like that big of a deal. Now, I had mentioned earlier that this is the suited body figure. There are some differences with this particular figure that has been changed from some of the other ones. So the torso should actually be a new piece because he doesn't have, it's not really the same collar piece as like the Coulson figure, and of course the jacket is different, but you notice that the neck, this neck is, well, I guess it actually is a separate piece. I don't think I ever really noticed that before. I just assumed that the neck was all the kind of the same piece there. It's just really noticeable on this figure that that neck piece is a separate piece onto the green shirt. The vest is all one piece, so it's not like you can open it up. And then you got that big ass yellow bow tie with the red polka dots, as you can see there, as we swap out the longer hair version of Arcade. And we have that, and this really reminds me of Lex Luthor from the Snyderverse, Batman v Superman. Really reminds me of him, and I'm trying to think, I can't think of the actor's name at the moment, but it really reminds me of him. So if you wanted like a longer hair Lex from Batman v Superman, I think this would be a really good one. Maybe if you darken up the hair, I think it could actually really work. But I like the way that looks. Then the rest of the figure is nothing really going on. It's just an all white suit, but he got them platform shoes with the red on the soles. and then the red laces, as you can see. And because they are bigger, we actually get peg holes that'll actually work on this type of suited body, which is the older one, so you don't have the swivel ankles or anything like that on this guy. So that's pretty much it. So now let's zoom out for his articulation. Okay, so for his neck articulation, we'll swap out the head so you can see both. He can look down with the long hair, but he's really not going to be able to look up with that long hair. With the shorter hair version, he can actually look up, as you can do that with it, and he can of course look down. Okay, so because Arcade has these big ass shoes that he is actually able to stand up very easily. I know with the suited body, you know, there's times where you could just kind of set him down and he'll be able to stand, but those shoes do make it hard at times. This one is just really easy to get him to stand because it really balances really well. But anyway, you can get the arms to go up that high. You get a full rotation upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow like so. Wrists swivel and they hinge. There's an ab crunch in there that you're really not going to be able to use because of the way the jacket and vest being one piece is, so there's no opening that up or anything. You have a waist swivel in there, legs go out that far apart only. You can kick forward like so. There is an upper thigh cut. You get a double jointed knee like so. No ankle swivel, but you have ankle pivot. You can hinge down a little bit. You really can't hinge up, and that's really it for Arcade. Very basic, but I mean it's pretty accurate. I just, again, wish they would use kind of the bigger, the younger Nick Fury body. I just think those legs just work so much better and puts a little bit of size to them. Not that, you know, this figure needs to be bigger. It's just when you have the bigger pieces, it just seems more sturdy and durable, if that makes sense. So now let's zoom out for some side-by-sides. Okay, so from Arcade's first appearance here, we have him next to Captain Britain and Spider-Man in Marvel's Team Up. And they look pretty good side by side. Arcade really has that hype because of those platform shoes he's got on. Okay, and here we have our supervillains wave so far. We have Lady Deathstrike, The Hood, Arcade, Doctor Doom, and Dormammu. Rounding out to be a pretty fun wave with some pretty dull figures, with The Hood really being pretty plain and dull, just because of the body, especially the reuse that it's the exact same as Stan Lee, it's the exact same as Peter Parker. We've seen it over and over again, and there's just not really a whole lot that's exciting about the Hood, especially because the cloak, the hood, and the cape are separate pieces. And then with Arcade, again, it's that really basic suited body, which they have a better version of. So why don't we get that better version? I just don't understand. But it works out because it is, you know, comic accurate. From all the images that I could see, he has this look with the long hair, or he has the shorter hair look. So it's not that they did anything wrong, it's just that I think they should have used the better body, and that really helps the figure go a long way. Even if it was exactly the same, you know, limited articulation in the torso and everything, that other body is just so much better. Okay, so my final thoughts on Arcade. I like the smiling face on this head sculpt. I really wish this head sculpt, the short hair version, actually would have had probably this facial expression. You look up a lot of images of Arcade and what you see is this hairstyle with some crazy looking smile. So I think that would have been perfect. This figure, this head sculpt is still really good. The other one's still really good. A third one would have been cool, but a third head sculpt is really unlikely that Hasbro would ever give us any, even on a figure that is 90% reuse. That's something that Hasbro just wouldn't do. Would have been really cool though. And again, this figure, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not that great of a figure because Hasbro actually has better. Now, if Hasbro didn't have the better suited body, you know, I probably wouldn't even make any mention of it, but because they do, it's like, why would they not use it? Not that, you know, Arcade is that big of a guy. He's a pretty thin guy, but it's just a better functioning figure that I prefer. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but that's just kind of my thought, my opinion on it. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this figure? Are you happy with it? And I know a lot of people were excited when he was announced, but you guys let me know down in the comments below. Are you happy or kind of left disappointed with it? If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.